Kia ora koutou. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 49 of Only a Podcast. Say hello, Captain.
Eric Cantona. Yeah. So here we all are. I trust you got up early and watched rugby.
I'll tell you what, that was going to be the first thing I mentioned today, the Rugby World Cup final. It was actually quite special for me, quite emotional for me, because Pack and Save has never been that empty as it was this morning while the rugby was on. So I caught the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, I think, of the rugby, and yeah, that's all you needed to see, really. So
stupid, terrible game.
It
Not just
really
that game, just rugby in general.
Yeah.
It needs rules. It needs proper rules that sort it out. It's just a mess. It's just a sort of organised scramble.
Yeah.
Sure enough, every now and again.
It.
No, but every now and again it breaks out into some tri-fest. But in these competitions, I think there was one stat that the South Africans have won their last 3 games in this competition by 1 point, which says a lot about tournament rugby.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that.
Enough of that nonsense.
We don't like it. No.
So we've got a pretty packed agenda, have we, today, I think?
Packed programme today.
I had to scrub a load of things off my list to save them for next time.
A lot of things beginning with B, as it happens.
Yeah, not for the first time. That's happened before, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Stuff beginning with B.
Right.
And what be those things, would you say?
The thing beginning with B.
We've got
Beatles. I just look
Beckham.
Look, the first thing on my list that doesn't begin with B. Bodies, that's the thing, which we'll get to. Bellingham, which is a short interlude after this morning's extravaganza at in the Classico. Do we have books anywhere? I'm not sure.
I've got a book I've started, but I wasn't going to talk about it today. That got culled from the list.
Too much to do.
Too much.
Okay, Beatles then. Go.
Yeah, so a bit more Beatles. The final, they reckon, the last bit of Beatles material. Remember in about 1990 something they said that.
There'll be some more.
Yeah, there will be.
I think there's still film and music out there for Peter Jackson to put his terrible, powerful computers on and faff with. So I don't think it'll be the end, but it may be the end of the music, the new music, as it were, with this rejigged John Lennon demo, which George was fairly disparaging about when he first heard it. But modern technology and all that has allowed the Tootles, or whatever we call them these days, to resurrect a new song.
We haven't heard anything yet, have we? It's been completely under wraps, hasn't it?
The 1st or the 2nd of November.
Couple of days' time, yeah.
But we do also know that they're going to reissue the famous red and blue double compilation albums, but they will be triples, and they will be coloured.
What are they putting on them then? What are they adding to them?
I don't know what they'll be adding. I mean, there are obvious subsequent. Obviously, that was the time. I did read that they'd be adding the new stuff. So the ones that were resurrected for the anthology a while ago, Free as a Bird and all that kind of thing, because that was new Beatles product and it's a best of. So you should have that on the blue album.
So potentially there won't be anything we haven't heard before then on those. I don't know, because
I don't think so.
You've had the super deluxe editions, and I thought that was everything on them, but that's not so much the early stuff. But
as to whether they're going to pad them out with the past Masters album, or are they going to release that, or have they released it?
That'll be next year.
It's my brain. Anyway, so no, I don't think it'll be new stuff, but I remain. It may be new to that album. Fill it up. You've got to fill it up with something if you're putting, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you just stretch it out and have an extra album and put those 3 extra tunes on that were post Beatles regenerated. We shall see.
We will see. So So a bit of Beatles there. I speaking of not really the Beatles, but Johnny Marr. Johnny Marr seems to be everywhere at the moment. Certainly in my social feeds. He's just releasing a book. A book, Marr's Guitars.
Yeah.
And it's about his guitars, believe it or not.
Yeah.
and that's great.
Coffee table item.
Yeah, it's great for your guitar geeks. But he appeared on an episode, the latest episode, I guess, of That Pedal Show. Now, anyone who plays guitar will be familiar with That Pedal Show.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of guys who talk about guitar pedals. They're experts in the field. They talk about pedals and more. And they talk about music. And they had Johnny Marr on there, and it was an hour and 45 YouTube video going through, like, showing off some of his best guitars and how he gets his sounds and how he wrote some of his songs. And it's just an absolute masterclass. If anyone's interested in the Smiths or any of that stuff, I mean, the Smiths was only a tiny bit of Johnny Marr's work. He's done some phenomenal work with other artists. It's well worth a watch. It is maybe a bit guitar geeky, but I think anyone will get something from it if you're interested in that kind of music. Similarly, a couple of years ago now, they had Graham Coxon on there. Same thing. Showing how he kind of came up with his music and his sounds. That's worth a look as well. We'll give you some links to those, but they're well worth a look if you're interested in Blur or the Smiths or guitars or music in general. I would recommend. Yeah.
Cool. Now, that's another B really with Blur. Oh well.
Blur, just about. Yeah. It was Johnny Marr technically, but yeah.
Sound. All right. I've been watching a few things in and out of the house. And the thing I came across, I reviewed in the newspapers, was a series called Bodies on Netflix, which is 8 one-hour episodes. The full series, and it's a sort of one of these time-shifty whodunit affairs. So it starts off in 1941, and they find a naked dead body in an alleyway in London who's been shot through the eye and has a scar across his forehead and a strange tattoo on the inside of his wrist. Okay. And the detective sets about this strange conundrum where this guy's come from. And then the time shifts to 2023, where a naked dead body in an alleyway has been found that's been shot through the eye with a scar and a tattoo. Okay. And another detective thinks this is a bit weird, and then it moves on to checks notes 1890, or back to 1890, when, you've guessed it, folks, the same thing happens. So you've got identical dead bodies in 3 different time zones, time scales, whatever you want to call them, and 3 detectives, and it's all rather confusing. And then at the end of the first episode, something very odd happens, but I'm not even going to say that because it just blows it a little bit. So, it's stay awake is what I can say if you're watching it. Right. If you just nod for 30 seconds, you might miss a little thing that links the thing to a thing. Okay. And blow the story. But sounds good, very intriguing. We're all into it. We're all into it. I don't think my daughter's watched it, but we're sort of next episode of Bodies tonight. Then let's put it on. So it's all there. Who's in it? Anyone we know? Who's in it? Stephen Graham's in it. Who's in This Is England? Brilliant. Oh, he's always brilliant. So Tinker Tailor, Snatch, and all that kind of thing. Greta Scacchi's in it. Okay. Yeah, indeed. She was in The Player and White Mischief as films, and I think got nominations for things like that. But she's been in lots of English character actress, of course, has been in lots of things through the years, stage and screen. So those are probably the 2 most famous people, but lots of superb young actors and actresses. Do we say actresses anymore? We probably don't, do we? We just say actors. I tend not to. They're all great. So pile in if you've got Netflix, or if you haven't, then try and steal it from somewhere else. If you like that sort of science fiction-y thing. I think I might have to watch that. That sounds all right. Speaking of Netflix, so I was home alone for a couple of hours the other day, and I thought, I'll put that David Beckham documentary, another B. Yes. A Beckham documentary. I've seen the first couple of episodes. It's good. Yeah. It's quite an eye-opener. What have I got from it so far? Well, he's a really nice guy. I think we knew that. I think he's a really good guy. His wife seems very nice as well. They went through absolute hell after the 98 World Cup, when he got sent off. Yep. They went through hell. I don't think we knew at the time. Oh, my God. No.
and all the stuff that was going on. Yeah, it was tough. They had a really tough time. But yeah, they've come out of it all right. And how his dad pushed him really, really hard as a kid. His dad was a bit of a bastard, really, making him work. But yeah, it was all worth it in the end, I think. But yeah, so it's been quite good. I'm going to, I think that's about 4, maybe 6 episodes. I'll try and get to the end of that if I can. Which leads me into
why
Eric Cantona, who does appear on this show as a talking head. There's new music out from Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
Do not adjust your sets. Yeah, he's doing music. He's writing and performing music. I didn't know about this until I saw a trail for Soda Jerker. I just interviewed him on their last episode. I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah.
But, he's released an EP, 4 songs. 2 of them en français and 2 of them en anglais. And I've listened to them. And they're all right. They sound very French. You know what I mean? They sound very French. They're sort of moody and atmospheric and whatnot. I'd like to know the story behind them. So I will listen to that Soda Jerker interview. But he's always kind of, got involved in the creative arts, hasn't he? He's that kind of character, which is great.
Yeah, I think
so it's all right. Give it a listen. It's all right.
I'd only seen the things on the socials that saying he's done this. I haven't actually gone there yet, so I'll have to spend a few minutes tracking it down. It should be fine.
It's on Spotify. So
seagulls not following the trawler.
Yeah, all that.
Great lyrics.
Yeah.
We shall see. Yeah. But speaking of football legends, just to interject, this very day, I've woken up to the fact that Barcelona-Real Madrid match has happened. And it was won. It was won by Jude Bellingham. Sorry if I've just blown the score there, people. But by the time this gets out, you'll know. You'll have found out what the score is. And he's amazing. And he's the new Beckham. Well, let's hope he doesn't have the torment that Beckham did in those games. Or ever gets blamed for being, I don't know, doing something wrong. But at the moment, he can't actually do no wrong. And Real Madrid were 1-0 down, quite deep into the match. And the young lad takes it upon himself to win it, and does. He's possibly the best footballer on the planet at the moment.
Could be.
Big statement. It could be. He's certainly he's worth a lot of money when he went to Real Madrid. He's probably worth even more money now.
Yeah, he's pretty sensational.
10 goals already this season in that league. Cool.
Yeah. He's quite something. Quite something. What was I going to say? I was going to say something then. I forgot what it was. Doesn't matter. Can't have been important.
Cut that bit out.
Yeah. Leave it in. It's fine. It keeps it real. It real. Just remembered something. Found ourselves watching some program last night called Uncanny. It's on the BBC, and it started out as a podcast and ended up as a TV show about people sending in ghost stories. Not ghost stories, sorry. Their experiences of ghosts and hauntings and poltergeists and all that. And it's been turned into a TV show, and they go and investigate. It's not like one of these hammed up dramatic things. But it's not science either. It's it's lighthearted, but it's really interesting because we watched the first episode, and there's all this evidence or anecdotal evidence, and in some cases real evidence of these ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but when you see all these things, it's like, oh well, hang on, how do you explain that? Do you know what I mean? So there was this ghost that appeared in this house, and 3 different people that lived in the house had all seen this at different times. Had all seen this ghost, and they'd all called her, what was it, Miss Howard. They knew, different people, unconnected, knew this ghost.
The same thing.
Yeah, and turns out there was a Howard family. It's in a little village in Cambridgeshire, and there was a Howard family, and there was this woman called Miss Howard. She's the one from the family that never married, and she died in that house.
Yeah, there you go.
And how to explain it? Do you know what I mean? Because there's all sorts of things about suggestion and subconscious and because they went back to that famous experiment in the early 70s where they completely fabricated a story of this ghost to this bunch of unsuspecting people as part of the experiment. They made the whole thing up. Yeah, they did seances and Ouija boards and all that, and it all kicked off. And you got psychologists, professors of psychology on this show talking about how you can, how your mind can play tricks on you, and how with Ouija boards, how you can be moving it yourself, and you don't even know you're doing it. You're subconsciously moving it, and then and all that stuff. It's really interesting because I don't know how you explain such coincidences. You know what I mean? But, so that was quite fun.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Why, Jude, what have I got left? I've got a film. Yeah, of course. We went out, and this could be somewhat of a scoop. A scoop. For only a podcast, folks. Well, not a scoop, but a shovel. I've actually been to see a film that isn't due out until February 2024. And Howard, can you do that? Because it's the British and Irish Film Festival up here at the moment, which is coming to an end fairly soon. We're going to see another one this afternoon. But I went to see a film purely on the cast and the location. It's a British film called Wicked Little Letters, and it's not going to be out until February next year. And it stars, pin back your logos, folks, Olivia Colman, Jessie Buckley, Tim Spall, Gemma Jones, and many more. So you think, English film, I'll go see it. It's loosely based on a true story. There seem to be so many of those. So many of those things these days. And it's about a young woman moves into next door to a family with a sort of grown-up stay-at-home daughter, played by Olivia Colman. The young woman is played very fierily, if that's the word, by Jessie Buckley, and who starts to receive abusive letters in the post. It's all about what the village is, the town, Littlehampton, it's supposed to be, is outraged by the language. And it's like, well, who's writing all these things, folks? It's cool. It's a bit farcical. It's period correct, as it were. So there's lots of scenes of that time filmed. Not so much in Littlehampton, as far as I know. Having been to Littlehampton, it's not there. But there is Arundel just down the road, and I did spot the main street of that. So, they've obviously been looking around those Sussex villages for appropriate buildings. And it's a rattling good yarn, as they say. And if you're, in the mood for a non-stressful afternoon out at the cinema, when it comes out, go and have a look. But I will say, that was probably the oldest audience that I've ever been in, ever. We were some of the youngest. I tell you, if there'd been a fire alarm, there'd been a fire alarm, that many people wouldn't have been able to get out, even though there are fire exits. Crikey, it was just absolutely stuffed to the doors.
With grey tops.
With grey tops, of which I am one, but crikey.
Great stuff.
And the side issue, Jessie Buckley, of course, where have we heard her before?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, with Bernard Butler, of course.
There you go. So not only is she an Academy Award nominated and BAFTA Award nominated actress, she did that album with Bernard Butler, which was called All Our Days That Tear the Heart last year, which we spoke about on
Mercury
this
nominated
show. Indeed. Yeah.
She's a great actor as well. I've seen her in a few things.
Tremendous.
Superb.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely tremendous. Another cinema-related fact that I saw, which won't take me long to say, is that View Cinema UK, good on you, View Cinema UK, has added an interval to Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, which goes on for 3 hours and 26 minutes. Brilliant. So that's probably a good thing. But it seems that people are going, why don't we get this more often? And
it's a no-brainer, right?
It's been a very popular move.
Yeah. And for the cinema, it's great because you go out and buy another drink or something, right? Or an ice cream.
Possibly. Yeah. No,
that's how they make their money, right? Not from ticket sales.
Indeed. Overpriced Coke and popcorn.
Yeah. I think the gram for gram of popcorn costs more than gold.
Yeah. So there you go. I wrote down some films. Avatar 2, Oppenheimer, and The Batman was some recent, over 3 hours, So yay for the interval.
That's not unusual now, is it? A 3-hour movie? It's just not unusual. No. I think Marvel get around there, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. There's certainly the big Marvels that have been up that way. So
I suppose it's easier for them to do now, right? With their computer mobs and all that, it's easy for them, to it's all done on a computer.
Just pause it whenever you want, presumably, and then, or switch the interval button, and up will come the PowerPoint slide to tell you to go and buy more ice cream.
Go visit the Taj Mahal, only 50 yards from this theatre.
rather than some guy waiting for the end of the reel to finish and then having to take it off.
Yeah, all that nonsense.
Projectionist thing. So intervals. We're all for them.
Bring them back.
People are getting on, and we'd quite like that chance to buy another ice cream in the middle.
Yeah, for $25.
Yes.
Yeah. I will. I will say because I will say that I got to the end of the Reckoning, the Jimmy Savile.
Oh yeah.
Thing. Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? It's really good. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad I watched it. I haven't really seen much in the way of reaction to it. I haven't really been looking. I don't know what the reaction's been out there.
That might be what we were talking about before. Is that people don't want to publicise the reaction to it too much. Don't want to put it in awards ceremonies, all that kind of thing. It's just a reticence of the subject matter. So that could possibly be the reason. But I said last time. I think that it got better as you went further into the show. I think those last. I don't know what you thought, but those last 2 episodes were.
They were
great. Were truly great.
They were a higher quality. When it all started to unravel, or it didn't really ever unravel, did it? But and I had a bit of feedback from my mate Hannah. She said, because I'd mentioned on the last episode how I always just see Alan Partridge whenever I see Steve Coogan.
Yep.
And she said there was one scene in The Reckoning, which was when Jim Will Fix It had got axed. And he's arguing with his agent or the producer, whoever it was. And it was quite reminiscent of the famous Alan Partridge scene trying to get a second series, the Smell My Cheese scene. It's quite reminiscent of that.
Oops.
But it wasn't reminiscent of it, but he was obviously trying to get another series. Anyway, so I'm glad I watched that. That was good.
Cool. All good.
I reckon we'll leave it there, shall we?
What are we doing for time? Yeah, it's probably about time. There's enough
I reckon
there
it is. I've got a couple of other bits.
Have a look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the only other bit that I've got is to end with is that don't worry about our Twitter /X account freezing, because that's a conscious decision. We're just over it.
It's retired.
You can find us on the Instagram, and you do threads, don't you? And I did a thread and an Insta. Just myself. There you go. Yeah, no.
I'm on the Blue Skies as well and the threads, but we're on them and the Facebook. I just did a little post just before we started recording. So if you have a look, you'll see a post from Only a Podcast, which is quite a good one, I think. So have a look at that. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Say goodbye, Captain.
Let's go. Goodbye, Captain.
See you later, folks.
Bye.